Freddy vs Jason, the ultimate horror showdown bloodbath that we were all waiting for. Hey guys, I'm Craig and welcome back to my channel. Now I've recently been reviewing all of the Elm Street movies from the very beginning and we are now up to Freddy vs Jason. Now when this movie first came out, I was very apprehensive. I don't recall seeing a trailer for this movie before I saw it, so I didn't really know what the movie was going to be fully about. When I first watched it, I was pleasantly surprised to discover that this was an amazing film. Whether if you're Team Freddy or Team Jason, all horror fans will have a good time with this one. So let's start with the things that I enjoyed about this movie. So I was really over the moon to see Robert Englund back playing Freddy. Sadly, this will be his last ever movie. And now I really did like the characters. You've got Laurie, who is the main protagonist, living in the original Elm Street house with her dad, who by the way is a little bit creepy. You've got Mark and Laurie's boyfriend Will, who are both locked away in Western Hills Psychiatric Hospital, who end up escaping when they learn of a murder that has been happening at Laurie's house. I actually really liked these two characters, especially Mark. Even Kelly Rowland stars in this movie as well, and you know, she's okay. So Freddy ends up bringing Jason back from the dead and he gets him to go around killing the kids on Elm Street and spreading some fear. Now Freddy basically isn't strong enough to kill any kids due to them not fearing him. And anyone who does have Freddy dreams are basically being fed Hypnocil, which is what Nancy was using in Nightmare 3. Jason goes on a good few killing sprees for the first half of this movie, and some of them are brutal. A particular death scene that stands out for me is Trey's death, when he's laying down in bed after making out with girlfriend Gib, and then Jason, he just appears with his huge machete and he rams it through Trey's body over and over again. Jason then proceeds to bend the bed backwards, causing Trey's body to also bend and snap backwards, and it's freaking awesome. This happens very early on in the movie as well, so after seeing this for the first time, I was super excited for the rest of the film. So Freddy lets Jason have some fun for a little bit, but then Jason, he starts to get a little bit greedy, and Freddy gets really pissed off that Jason won't stop because Freddy is now strong enough to carry on with the killings, but Jason doesn't want to stop, and Jason is basically taking all of Freddy's victims. So this sets things up beautifully for them both to have a brutal showdown in the final act. Some of the nightmare scenes in this movie fills me with nostalgia. I mean, Laurie has a small nightmare where she is outside the old Elm Street house while kids are skipping and singing the Freddy nursery rhyme, which totally takes me back to Dream Warriors. There's another nightmare scene where Gib ends up in the boiler room being chased around by Freddy, and it just takes you back to Nightmare 1. Also, some of the cinematography in this movie is absolutely outstanding. There's also another storyline that slips in during the middle of the movie where boyfriend Will accuses Laurie's dad of killing her mum, telling Laurie that he saw it happen one night when he climbed up to Laurie's bedroom window, and for a while you actually don't know where this story is going. You don't know whether if it's true or not. There's a really intense scene where Laurie's dad attacks and throttles Will, and then the dad and Laurie, they end up having like this intense scene in the house, and Laurie, she ends up running and she escapes the house with her dad chasing her because she doesn't know what to believe at this stage. It's really well done and it adds just another air of mystery to the movie. It is revealed later on that it was, you know, indeed Freddy, but Freddy was disguised as the dad and then Freddy killed the mum. I also found Freddy to be an evil little shit in this movie, which is just amazing. There's a scene where Jason freaks out when a load of water is running down onto him in a dream, where Jason then turns into a crying little boy for a moment, and then Freddy, he plunges one of his knives into Jason's head to see what's going on in his memories. And I was like, whoa, Freddy, you little bad monster. I am loving how badass Freddy is being in this movie. It reminds you of just how evil evil Freddy can be. There are little parts of this movie where it does seem a little bit cheesy, but it's not overdone. I think they got the balance just about right. Freddy does have some classic one-liners in this movie, but it doesn't make you cringe and it doesn't make Freddy any less scary, in my opinion. Another really cool death scene was Mark's, when he ends up seeing his dead brother in the bath, and then these blood things, you know, they latch on to Mark's feet, and then Freddy then sets fire on, you know, on his back, and then Will and Laurie, they see him burning in the bedroom. All of a sudden, Freddy claw marks appear over Mark's face, and I just think it was a really cool moment. I was actually sad to see Mark die because I did actually like his character, and that proves that it's a good movie when you care for the characters. I mean, he was absolutely bonkers, but I liked him. The party on the field massacre was also a really cool scene where Jason is set on fire and he's walking through, and again, the effects are just outstanding. The final battle between Freddy and Jason was absolutely brutal, and it's one of the best parts of the whole movie. They really didn't let us down during this showdown, which goes on for quite some time. It finally comes to a brutal end when Jason pretty much rips off Freddy's arm, the arm that has the glove, and Freddy then uses Jason's own machete and plunges it into him. They then get blown into the water after a huge explosion in the boathouse, and then Freddy comes back, you know, onto shore, but he only has one arm, and he's holding Jason's machete and he's getting ready to kill Laurie and Will. Jason then plunges Freddy's ripped arm with the glove through Freddy's body. You just can't make this stuff up. Laurie then gets up and picks up the machete and chops off Freddy's head, and Freddy's head then ends up in the lake, and it's just so great. It was a great fight, a great defeat, and I loved the ending when Jason is walking out of the lake holding Freddy's head, and then Freddy does a cheeky little wink at the camera just before the credits roll. Freddy definitely won this one, in my own opinion. I'm just going to put that out there, although Jason did pull up a really good fight. I do absolutely love this movie. It's definitely one of the better sequels to come out in the noughties, in my opinion. I'm actually so glad that we got Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason to finish off the franchise, especially after that poor entry of Freddy's Dead. Oh my god, what were they thinking with a horrible movie? You can tell that they worked bloody hard on this movie, and they did a really good job. I did read somewhere that they were originally going to try and make a Freddy vs. Jason Part 2, but for some reason that never really got off the ground for whatever reason, and it is a little bit of a shame, but at the same time, Freddy vs. Jason works as a standalone movie for me. I mean, I would be happy for just like another Nightmare on Elm Street movie to come out, but I do know that Robert Englund has said that he can no longer play Freddy Krueger due to his age, which is fair enough. So I suppose a reboot or like another remaster version would have to be on the cards. I mean, I would worry about who would end up playing Freddy this time around. I mean, look back at what happened with the 2010 remake, which I will be reviewing in my next entry. So guys, do we have any Freddy vs. Jason fans watching today? If we do, then let me know in the comments box below, and let me know, who do you think really won the fight? Team Freddy or Team Jason? Let me know, guys. Okay then, well, thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe, and I will see you all again very soon.